Hi, I'm John Carl.
My name is Sade McKenzie.
My name is Nisha Williams, and I am here to share my testimony.
My parents are both immigrants coming from Jamaica. We grew up not owning our home, going through periods where would come home, didn't have electricity, would have to boil water in the morning and bathe with that, or use kerosene lamps for light. And it was just something that you felt like maybe everyone you knew went through, so it didn't seem quite out of the norm.
Growing up and watching other females, I have friends who are pregnant, who are on drugs, who are in abusive relationships, and I know it stems from family problems in their past. With the experience of watching my mom struggle through her drug addiction, growing up as a kid was really complicated to see her struggle. She was angry all the time. We moved around a lot. There was some verbal abuse, and things was just hard.
I grew up in Guilderland, but ended up at 540 Madison Avenue, right down the street here, and on Hackett Boulevard when my family somewhat disintegrated when I was about 10 years old. They called me Coyote when I was growing up because I was on the streets till all hours of the night sometimes, on bicycles, back and forth to Guilderland, being involved with drug activity, prostitution, and other violent activities at that point. There was nobody who was going to kind of focus on at-risk youth or things like that. As a matter of fact, that term didn't even exist on that side. There was no Equinox, there was no Capital Roots, there was none of these organizations that were reaching out.
When people ask me where I grew up and I tell them Albany and they say, "Oh, where?" and I go on to tell them Arbor Hill, they're often taken aback. And I think they, one, don't expect me to be from an inner city neighborhood, and two, I'm sure they're recalling in their minds all of the comments they've heard about Arbor Hill and maybe some of the remarks themselves have made. And some of those people in my presence. I make it a point to tell people I'm from Arbor Hill because everyone has a comment about Arbor Hill, and I find it particularly frustrating. I had tough enough parents where I knew I couldn't fool around too much because they were disciplinarians. That coupled with finding true joy in being in a classroom and having people outside of my family that really believed in me made all the difference, and it just kept me on track.
Miss Shatika Hall, she's like, "You're gonna be with me tomorrow," and I'm like, "I don't even know you, so I'm not hanging out with you tomorrow." And she's like, "I'm gonna be here at 9 o'clock in the morning." I was like, "Yeah, okay, I'm not going." She shows up the next day at 9 o'clock on the dot, and she says, "Come on, let's go, you're going to my house." And she asked me what I wanted for breakfast, and I was being smart. I told her, I was like, I want pancakes, I want eggs, I want sausage. I was just like going down the list, and I was just, I know that she knew I was being, disrespectful. But everything that I said for her to make, she made it, and I cried because that was like the first real meal I had since being in a shelter. She didn't ask me; she just gave me a hug, and she told me that she cared. And that's when, I was like, she's not that bad.
It was only at a point that a couple teachers kind of informed me that I would be in a little bit of trouble and an Albany detective, that if I kept on doing what I was going to be doing, I'd probably end up in jail and or dead or both by my 20s.
Oh man, Pastor Keith Davey, and I gave this man such a hard time. I cursed him out, told him to mind his bleep business, and he was like, "I see potential in you, and I'm not going to give up on you. I'm going to fight for you, even if you're not willing to fight for yourself." And I've never had anyone say that to me. I knew that I was loved. I knew that my mom was safe, and that was really important to me. And I knew that, she wasn't getting high, and she was, doing the best that she could while she was here.
Without their help, I wouldn't be here now. I wouldn't have made it past 20.
If it was not for Hopeful Women, I know for a fact that I wouldn't be here.
I was fortunate enough to always have people, teachers, coaches, mentors like Mark Bob Semple and my family members. Mark Bob Semple was also the first person that told me that I would most definitely make it in college and that there were bigger things in store for me.
And I ended up, going to Siena College. I got the RPI Math and Science Award, and they gave me some tuition reimbursement to go to RPI as well. I graduated and became a CPA. I've been rather successful. I work now for Janney Montgomery Scott as a financial advisor and have been doing that for 20 years. I've also been on the board, in helping Capital Roots and Equinox. I've been on the board and the treasurer to help them raise the capital to prevent, the things I went through, the drug usage, drug dealing and things like that. For what Ignite's trying to do, get people involved. It is meaningful. It helps out the other people in the community, and that's what matters in life. The other stuff does not matter.
I was able to go to college, which was something I never expected to do. To continue my education, I graduated 2013 with my bachelor's in business administration and business management. Eventually, my pastor asked me to be full-time staff as marketing and recruitment manager, and that's pretty much how I got here today.
I am currently a physician resident at Albany Medical Center, training in emergency medicine. I know that people often probably just take it as I'm a single exception, and nonetheless Arbor Hill is still this community to be feared. But I think that, I can stand as a testament to what can come from this neighborhood. I stand as a representation of my friends who are doing great things that are also from this neighborhood and some of the surrounding neighborhoods in Albany. I don't have to say much beyond that, and I think it's powerful, and I often don't go much further than that. My name is Shade McKenzie, and I serve Albany.
I'm John Carl, and I serve Albany.
I'm Nashay Williams, and I serve Albany.